Hello everybody, I'm Jackie K. Cooper, and this is my entertainment rundown for the week of April 14th. Well, this past weekend I may have broken a record. I saw 5 movies this weekend. So I don't know if that's a record or not. It seems like maybe in the past, maybe I've gone beyond that, but just in recent history, that's really going over the level. The first movie I saw is called Little. It's all about a woman who's a career woman played by Regina Hall. She's mean, she's lean, she's a working machine, and she runs her office fiercely. And her assistant, played by Issa Rae, is just really ready to throw it all in because she's tired of being treated so badly. But she treats a little girl badly one day, or treats Issa Rae badly in front of a little girl, and the little girl has a magic wand, and she says, "I wish you were little so I could take care of you." And the next morning, Regina Hall wakes up, and she is in the body and all of a 13-year-old who is played by Marseille Martin. And she is really good in this movie. She is, unlike Shazam, where the 14-year-old was supposed to be in the body of Zachary Levi, and it never worked out. This little girl, she acts like she is Regina Hall, and that adds to the movie, but the movie is just one joke stretched too thin. It's rated PG-13 for profanity and adult situations. I scored it 5 out of 10, just average. Then I saw a movie that you might have to really look to find. It's called Stockholm, and it stars Ethan Hawke. And I have become a big Ethan Hawke fan recently. I mean, he's just making so many, out of the ordinary movies like First Reformed, which was a really great movie last year. He made a movie about Billy the Kid called The Kid, and now he's made this Stockholm where he plays a bank robber in the 1970s. He goes into the Bank of Stockholm, Sweden, and he plans to, hold it up, take hostages, and get his friend out of prison and get a lot of money and then go off into the sunset. Well, things don't go as planned, and he keeps some hostages, one of whom is played by Noomi Rapace, and she and he have kind of a love relationship, Stockholm Syndrome. Also, Mark Strong is in the film. It's quirky, it's out of the ordinary, it's rated PG-13 for profanity and violence. I scored it 7 out of 10. It's not the most wonderful movie of the year, but it is a good one. Then we have Hellboy. I've seen the other 2 Hellboy movies with Ron Perlman, I think is his name. He was great. He had the right blend of wit and power. But this Hellboy, played by David Harbour, just never reaches that point. He's got a villain played by Mila, let me get her name right, Jovovich. Mia Jovovich. And she's a witch who was killed by King Arthur, of all people. Her body was separated into 6 or 7 parts and buried in different places around the world so that she could never come back together. Well, of course, she gets everything back together and comes back. The movie I thought was going to be Hellboy. It turned more into The Sword and the Stone, the Arthurian legend. No, those 2 don't work together. This film is rated R for profanity and violence. I was really disappointed in it. It only gets 5 out of 10. Then we have a movie called Diane. It's about one woman's journey through life. She's played by Mary Kay Place. She's a woman whose husband is deceased. She has one son, played by Jake Lacy. He's an addict. She's trying to get him straightened out. She's trying to take care of relatives who are sick or dying. And it's just one depressive moment after another. Plus, the way it's filmed, she gets in the car, she drives from one place to the next. Sometimes she gets there in a few hours. Sometimes it means that several years have evolved. So you have a hard time keeping up with, the time changes in this movie. Mary Kay Place is great. Estelle Parsons is great. Jake Lacy is great. But it is just too much of a downer for me. I scored this one 4 out of 10. Finally, we have the stop-action animated film called The Missing Link. I didn't expect this movie to be anything great, but I went in to see it, sat there, laughed my head off. Some of the lines matched up with the animations that's on the Missing Link's face are just hilarious. Hugh Jackman voices the explorer who is trying to, discover the missing link, and then once he does, trying to get him in connection with the Yetis over in the Himalayas. Zoe Saldana is the widow of one of Hugh Jackman's explorer friends. She comes along for the journey. The dialogue in this film is great. I never have been crazy about stop motion animation, but in this one it really works. I had a great time with this film. Again, it was one of those surprises where you go in not expecting much and come out saying, that was a lot of fun and the time flew by. It is rated PG for mild profanity and comic violence. I scored it 7 out of 10, so that's a good one. That's been, the entertainment rundown. Next week, we're going to be talking about Breakthrough, Penguins, After, and The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Look over there, see my face, come on, be a subscriber. We want you on board. We want you as part of the gang. But for today, this has been Jackie K. Cooper's Entertainment Rundown.